We have been seeing some heavy rainfall across the Philippines from the west coast of Luzon all the way down towards Cebu, even seeing some flooding reported there. And this is just the start of several days of rainfall associated with now a tropical depression. It's not named minor TD by JMA, but if it does get upgraded by Bagyo, which I totally expect, it will be called Auring off of the east coast of the Philippines here. Now, here's the deal. This low-level center is going to track towards the north, and likely, the right front could impact Okinawa and the southern Japanese islands as we go ahead through about the early to mid part of next week. You want to stand by and watch that. But the bigger topic, especially for the Philippines, is the inflow, and you can even see that here on microwave imagery. Here's our low-level center right there. But look at the moisture flow coming in clear from the Indian Ocean and wrapping into the Philippines, and thus, we're seeing the heavy rainfall. Even in Negros, that is a bit of a lahar there because of that heavy rain on top of volcanic ash. So, boy, there's plenty going on here. Let's break this down on this developing tropical system and how it's going to impact the Philippines. But like I mentioned already, low-level center here towards the east, we're already seeing inflow and thus the heavy rainfall. I did see those reports of flooding out of Cebu. It's already due to that showers coming in, and we still have a bit of a northeasterly flow towards north, almost creating a bit of a shear line, but that is backing off here as we go through Friday and the Saturday. You can see that low-level center per the ECMWF, keeping it offshore of the Bicol area here, but basically just skirting the northeast coast of Luzon, kind of bumping up against the Sierra Madre Mountains. But all the while, throughout the weekend and into next week, really increasing showers. Now, of course, where that low-level center is over Luzon, you're going to see the rain. But I think the bigger topic is further south. So let's take a look at a different view here. Because here's your low-level center kind of tracking off towards the north. All right. But keep an eye on Palawan, western areas of Visayas, Mindoro, and just look at the continued river of moisture. This is just an onslaught of rainfall in the forecast here, which is going to be adding up over the course of several days. Really picking up on Monday and a Tuesday as our low-level center with this tropical area, pretty much a monsoonal gyre at this point. Not a tight closed low like a typhoon, but a broad circulation with these rivers of moisture. You can really see it here. It moves up towards the north, wraps around, and see how that flow comes in out of China. This is big, broad circulation, right? And it's that continued rainfall that I worry about. Because, if we got a super typhoon out here, everybody gets worried. For good reason. Everybody prepares. Everybody kind of hunkers down. With this, it's just a tropical storm or just a tropical depression, but it brings the amount of rainfall a super typhoon can bring. And that causes issues time and time again. We see it here in the Philippines where you're not under a signal force warning. You're not even remotely close to a low-level center, but you get days of rain. And look at this. This is indicating 300 to 500 millimeters in spots over the next 5 days. I mean, just an atrocious amount of rainfall. Thus, floodwaters are going to be rising quickly here over the next few days. Key thing, stay out of it if you can. Don't try to drive through it. We all know these rules, but I think one of the things, and I get it, it's more fun in the Philippines. We always see the pictures of people jumping into the floodwaters. Well, those could have sharp objects in it. Just saying. I call it poop water. Remember that, because it's backing up from somewhere. All right, so here's the broader view. We're going to, of course, continue to watch this. If it does get upgraded by JMA to a tropical storm, it would be called WUTIP. Really, this is type 1 of the systems. It is up to the decision, probably of the forecaster on shift at JMA or Bagasa, because it's not going to be your typical tropical setup. It's not going to be your typical typhoon, but you are going to see this large monsoonal gyre type of setup here. And in fact, let's bounce back over to windy here. This is a satellite image of windy, but let's just look at the wind flow. And we're going to look ahead here to, how about the 10th? We've been keeping an eye on the 10th. This is the ECMWF showing this broad circulation. The GFS actually has been trying to take this broad circulation. It's been up a secondary low behind it off the coast of west coast of Luzon, which would just enhance showers. That's the big thing. GFS really does want to pull for, this storm to wrap up a little bit. I think that's unlikely. But regardless, you're going to be looking at that wind flow hitting the southern Japanese islands, including Okinawa, as we go ahead through Tuesday and the Wednesday of next week. Even if, it wraps up or not, you're still going to probably be looking at tropical storm strength winds off here towards the north. And then you can see that wind flow wrapping back down towards the south. You can see this time frame on the very bottom of the screen. It's kind of hard to see. You see it right there. This is Wednesday. So, yeah, it's just this broad river of moisture. I like calling it that because I think it puts it in perspective the best. When you view it that way, here's the edge of your river like that, just like that. So if you're in the middle of it, you're going to be getting the rain. That's pretty much the cut and dry of it here with this tropical area. So of course I'm going to keep you posted on what's happening with it. I am heading to Mississippi to see my good pal, storm chaser. He's not a meteorologist, but he's been in more typhoons than anybody else on Earth. Josh Morgan. A lot of you know him from Haiyan out there in the Philippines. Yeah, going to see him this weekend, so I will be intermittent on the updates, but if this is named, I definitely will post something, at least a YouTube short, or you can follow me on Facebook at Western Pacific Weather on Facebook if you don't already watch there, or Robert Speta Weather. I've also been trying to get in on Blue Sky, but, you know, it's too many social media platforms. Number one thing is watching here on YouTube if you like these updates, subscribing, and checking out our Patreon, because that's what helps support this channel, makes these updates possible. So big shout out to everybody that supports us on Patreon. I can't thank you guys enough. I say that every time, but I feel like a broken record because I make sure I say it at the end of every video, because that's the perk of this. You guys get your name on here, and everybody knows you are amazing people. So love you guys. Hey, by the way, I am not an official agency by any means. I say it at the end of every update too. A lot of you understand that. A lot of you know that, but just want to clarify. Make sure you check out WestPacWx or your local agencies for any evacuation orders. Number one thing now is be ready for some heavy rainfall, especially if you're out here in parts of Visayas and southwestern Luzon. I'm meteorologist Robert Speta, and as always, stay safe out there, friends. Bye.